Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about whether it is worth your time to farm the new time extension quest or not. But before we jump into the rest of the video, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to talk about is, of course, there is a new game mode called Time Extension Quest over here, and basically it's more like a time attack than anything else. So the objective of this game mode is simply you want to clear the enemies as quickly as possible. There are multiple waves of enemies, and the faster you kill the enemies, the more time you get. So when you kill some trash mobs, you might get an extension of 1 second to 2 seconds, and when you kill bosses, you get like 15 to 20 seconds extension. So basically, it's a time attack. You're rushing and you're killing these mobs as quickly as possible. Now do keep in mind this is a 4-player game mode and you are going to need a party. Running this solo is going to be very difficult. I don't know if it's actually possible to complete the hard mode or extermination solo. Probably not, because you do have to split up and you have to take different multiple paths in order to clear out all the different mobs. I'm pretty sure you might have a chance of clearing the normal mode or patrol solo. It might be possible, but for extermination, definitely I don't see it happening, because getting to wave 10 is difficult enough already, versus the patrol mission only goes up to wave 6. But with that out of the way, is it worth your time to play this game mode? Personally, I've sunk 12 hours in the past 2 days playing this. I haven't even done my dailies. If you look over here, my dailies are incomplete. I really need to complete this one actually in order to get my tokens. But I haven't been doing any of my dailies because the only thing I've been doing is running that new game mode, because personally I find that more enjoyable than anything else currently available in the game. Sure, there is the Darkfall Solace and Darkfall Aegis, you know, these are really fun, Sign of the Planet Breaker as well as Halffield Lake Interception. However, you know, we've played it so many times already that I kind of need a change of pace, and Time Attack has been really eye-opening, and it really forces you to adapt your playstyle and to get better at your class. So as many of you guys know, I have been spending quite a lot of time learning the Force class, and I really enjoy playing the Force class. However, in Time Attack, the Force is very situational. On the Kavaris map, the Force is actually really good, because elementaling down the bosses allows your team to deal so much more damage when the boss isn't moving. It's very powerful. However, in the Retem map, it's very difficult, because on the Retem map, you actually need to use all 6 elements, and it's very annoying switching between all the elements and elementaling down and memorizing the boss rotations and the boss spawns, as well as what element to use. And even when you do all of that, you do less damage than my Braver. So on the Retem map, I am running Braver main class the majority of the time, simply because we need more damage and it's just easier to play. However, on the Kavaris map, I usually use Force, because the elemental downs are just that useful, especially the compound techniques that just like crowd control massive CC is just really good. However, it's just really nice to see that each map has different strengths and weaknesses for each class, so it's not like, oh, you know, you need to have XYZ class for every speed run and all the other classes are trash. Sure, eventually there will be a meta and there will be a tier list, but at the time of this recording, you know, it's been out for 2 days, so most people are kind of just like, yeah, whatever, just play whatever class you want, and we just kind of mess around. However, gunners are kind of up there, you know, gunners are just really powerful with all that mobility and all that damage. But other than the gunner class itself, I think most of the other classes do have a fair chance in this time attack. You might not get the fastest time possible, however, all classes are able to complete all the way up to wave 10 and actually completing the extermination, which is really nice to see. But enough of me yapping about how much I like this game mode, and let's talk about the loot. As you can see over here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I managed to get 5 Rayar weapons to drop, as well as 2 Flugelguard weapons to drop from farming this for 12 hours. So, you know, it's an okay drop. And then we've got like a metric butt ton of Verschmel weapons over here. As you can see, we got a ton of Verschmel weapons, which is actually pretty nice to see. But, you know, you're not getting that crazy loot because, I mean, even if you get a rare weapon, unless you get one with like a high fixa, that's the one that has value. But the thing about the rare weapons are they are not tradable, so you know, you can't convert this into money. The thing about Flugel weapons is sure they are tradable, but you know, it's not worth that much money. You know, it's 300,000 to 700,000 within this range for the wired lance. But then again, you know, the wired lance is not the most popular weapon. But something that does have a little bit more value is going to be the armors. As you can see over, well, not these Elena armors, these over here, we've got a whole bunch of them with Fixa 3, Fixa 2. We've got a whole bunch of regular Elena armors, but we've also got the Beltas. So this one with Natural, I don't think this is worth a lot. Okay, 450,000, that's still decent. We've got a Sheza over here with Performa. Let's see this one, 2 million, that's pretty decent. We've got some Octo Argas. These aren't worth a lot because they're Octo armors. They're not the Elena armors. So these are worth a lot less. But nevertheless, you know, you do get some decent gear. I think the main one is the Elena Armor Sheza over here with the Fixa Performer level 2. We've got a Fixa Guard level 1 as well. How much is this worth? You know, 400, 500,000. So there is a little bit of money to be made here. So it might be worth farming depending on whether you want to invest the time or not. But personally, I think the value of the time attack is all of the different materials you're getting. As you can see, I've got like 400 of every LC capsule already over here, except for High Red Domina as well as Grand Dreadkeeper because these two are new. But nevertheless, you know, I've got a metric butt ton of LC capsules. If we look at the Icicle Orbs over here, we've got so many. We got 4,000 Icicle Cubes, 8,000 Icicle Orbs, 500 Icicle Cube 2, 1,800 Icicle Orb 2. So if we actually go to the exchange shop over here, go to Exchange Kavaris, and let's say we want a rare katana, we can actually make 6 rare katanas right off the rip, which is actually really nice, simply because I've gotten all of these materials by farming the time attack. That's all I've been doing, and you get so many of all of these materials. However, it doesn't end there. You also get a bunch of TA customization discs A and B. So as we can see over here, you know, it might not look as impressive if you look at 19 Bs over here, 91 Bs. Okay, 91 Bs is actually pretty impressive, but you might notice that my technique CDs are kind of low. And the reason for this is because when we come to tech arts customization, we do this drop down to force and we go to techniques. You can see I have level 10 Fiore as well as level 10 grants already, simply because it's just too good to pass up. These are just really, really powerful, getting that elemental down factor plus 100%, and the Seal of Flame accumulation plus 50% is just really, really good. And having this at level 10, all it does is increase my PP cost by 5%, as well as the grants version. I also have the elemental down version because I have not been farming a lot of Dark Falls Aegis or Dark Falls Solus. If I was farming those, I would max out the second version. It would be this one, negate enemy attacks when activated. So basically it gives you like a counter or like an iframe, which is really nice. But basically I was able to max out 2 of my tech arts customizations over here with the force, and for the braver I've already maxed out Lotus Lightning as well. However, if we go to the Lotus Lightning, I've actually maxed out 2 of them. As you can see, the type 2 is level 10 as well as type 3, and I actually use type 3 over type 2 simply because type 3 is unconditional, while type 2 actually requires you to use Brave Combat to get all of its bonuses. So personally I just use type 3 because it's easier and I don't need to think about it and it's always active. Now other than that, another thing that might interest a lot of people is gonna be the End Master Cubes. Now I know some of you guys are like, Caro, that's 16 End Master Cubes. How on earth did you get 16? And no, I didn't get all 16 from this game mode. I got like 3 or something, maybe 2 from the titles, because there are a bunch of titles that will reward you End Master Cubes when you achieve them, so that is really nice. However, more importantly, whenever you do the time attack, you get a metric butt ton of Genesis points. As we can see here, the Genesis points is weekly. I have confirmed that it is not a daily reset, unfortunately. So as you can see, I have maxed mine out of 50,000. However, nevertheless, the Genesis points are really nice to have because of the Genesis shop. So every single week, we are simply going to come over here. We are going to buy out our 5 master fragments, because remember, with 10 of these master fragments, you can make 1 End Master cube. So that means every 2 weeks you're going to be able to get this. On top of that, of course, I'm going to be buying the Phantasy capsules so that I can craft my Lux Hal finales, which are very nice. We've got more LC capsules if you need to buy even more. Personally, I don't need any LC capsules because I farm so much in that time attack game mode. However, something that I will need are going to be all of the TA customization discs A as well as B's as well as X's. Those are the things that I need to buy because I'm maxing out all of my skills to level 10 on different classes as well, since I have branched off to play Force. Now, in order for the Force to be a little bit more efficient and more effective, I do need to max those skills out, because playing the Force, you have to play really dang well for pretty low damage, unfortunately. Basically, on the Force, if I play perfectly, I can get around 6,000 DPS. However, on average, I'm dealing like 5,000, 4,500 DPS, somewhere in that range now. Versus with the Braver, where I just go in on a herpa-derpa-derp, I'm dealing like 8,000 damage. Like 6,000 to 8,000 damage just herpa-derping. It's so crazy that the damage difference is that huge on the classes. So I do think Force does need a buff, because damage wise they definitely are falling behind. But as you can see over here, you know, we bought out all the icicle cubes as well as the icicle orb stuff. We bought all the discs, we've master fragments, the Phantasy capsules. I don't think we're gonna buy the stuff over here. I mean, we could, but I don't want to waste all of my Genesis points right now, because I do need some of these Genesis points in order to get the daily buff from my Alliance mag. So if we go over here to personal character information and under Alliance mag boost, so in order to get all of these boosts, the 10% HP, 10 PP, potency up, EXP up, as well as rare drop rate, you do need some Genesis points in order to get all of these buffs over here. So that is why personally I have been saving a little bit of my Genesis points. I don't want to waste all of them on the shop. However, I do need to check if the shop is actually a weekly reset, because again, you know, it does look like it is a weekly reset, 4 days remaining. So yeah, once next week rolls around, we will check that out. So at the end of the day, is the time extension quest worth your time? Personally, I think it is. However, you need to enjoy the game mode, since it essentially is a time attack game mode. I know some people do not like time attack. They just want to play casually. They want a chill experience. They don't want this frantic rush of, I need to min-max every little thing in order to get the fastest time physically possible. If you do enjoy that game mode, like myself, then it's great. It's really fun to optimize, to talk with your teammates, to try to find an optimal route in order to kill things faster, save some explosive barrels, save some of those icicle shards, use the in-game mechanics to make your runs faster and more efficient. That is really, really fun to me. I really enjoy figuring things out. So for example, when we're fighting Darkfall Solas, Darkfall Aegis, it's really fun to see, oh, what are the boss rotations? How do I counter those boss rotations? How do I squeeze out a little bit more damage on those boss rotations? But in the time attack, it's more than just DPS, DPS, DPS. It's more about like maneuvering around the map, positioning, understanding the in-game mechanics, knowing how to use the teleport orbs, knowing how to use the yellow shards, knowing how to use the explosive barrels. There are a lot more elements to the time attack than just, oh, I need to memorize the boss rotation and I just counter and I squeeze out as much damage as possible. It's a lot more interactive in my personal experience, and it's really fun when you're working as a team. Now, if doing this with randoms, personally, I don't think it would be as fun. But if you are running it with friends or with Alliance members and you're all in a voice chat or you're all typing in a party chat, I feel like that is really fun, because just the process of optimizing and the process of brainstorming and finding solutions to all the problems and trying to solve this puzzle is just really, really fun for me personally. And it just kind of depends on your personal playstyle and what you look for in NGS. If you are the type of person that enjoys all of this puzzle solving as well as time attack game modes, then this is definitely the game mode for you. Now, it is a little bit unfortunate that things are not randomized. However, I am thankful that they're not randomized, because it gives people time to actually settle down, to think, to strategize, to find the most optimal route. So it's really fun right now. However, give it a couple of weeks and I think the novelty will die out and people are going to be like, oh, we found the optimal strategy already. We already know how to min-max everything. We need something new. new because, you know, it doesn't change the boss spawns as well as the spawn locations. All the enemies are exactly the same every single run. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how Sega mixes things up. However, do keep in mind, if Sega does a little bit of a randomizer and like different stages, like let's say that we clear the Kavara stage 10 or wave 10, and then we immediately load into another map or like into a waiting room that goes into another map, it kind of becomes endless. For those who played endless in the base game, it literally becomes endless if they just randomized the spawn locations and they gave us floors to go up to progress through, like an endless progression, which is something that I would be pretty down and pretty excited to see in the future. However, I am very satisfied right now with this time extension game mode at the moment with its current iteration, but I do think that this leaves a lot of stuff on the table that they can improve on and they can iterate on and make better basically. And so I wouldn't be surprised that later down the line we might get a time extension mode randomized or something like that, or they might just call it endless. If they just call it endless mode, that would be pretty cool as well, where it's just constantly time attack, time attack, time attack, and you see how far you can get. You know, instead of ending at wave 10, it goes all the way up to wave 100 or something, and you just push yourself to the limit. Then on top of that, there is of course solo endless mode, at least in the base game there was. So that would be really interesting to see, because a lot of people pushed themselves really hard when there was solo mode, because there was a title at the very end. If you cleared floor 100 or something, or wave 100, you did get a really nice title, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, I am excited to see what NGS has in store in the future, but personally, with this game mode right now, I am very surprised and very satisfied that it's this fun.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
Well, yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.